You know how Japan was facing an immigration crisis,
Mm-hmm.
and Japan was on the brink of being turned into a socialist Sharia law failure nation state, just like the United States and Great Britain, the UK, whatever they're called now.
Mm-hmm.
But Japan's Iron Lady herself,
Thank
the
God.
Prime Minister
Yeah.
Sanae Takaichi, put her foot down and solved all the problems
Mm-hmm.
in the past 2 weeks. What I'm talking about is obviously that they're going to be extending the requirement for how long you have to be here to get permanent residency or a
No,
Japanese passport.
I think just citizenship. I think permanent residency is gonna stay the same.
They're looking at both.
Really?
Yeah.
Not just harder path to citizenship, but even permanent residency.
Well, first they're making everything more expensive.
Yeah, so expensive. So, but
Yes,
the
which is
length requirement,
length
um,
requirement. Yeah, passport to 15 years.
10 years, five.
Right.
So it used to be 5, and now it's
Yes.
10. Yeah.
And permanent residency used to be 10 and they're looking at 15.
Really? I didn't know about this. I didn't know about the latter one. I
Of
didn't
course,
know they're gonna.
this is all rumors.
Okay.
Um, but I'm taking it all as fact.
All right.
This will
Might
solve
as well be
everything.
fact. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't know if you knew that that was Japan's biggest immigration problem,
Mm-hmm.
was that it was too easy to get
To get
permanent citizenship
exactly. Uh-huh.
or a Japanese passport.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, or that it was too cheap.
It's cheap. Yeah, too
Ob-
cheap. Yeah.
Obviously, it was
They didn't
too
exploit
accessible.
enough. Yeah. Not enough exploitation.
Not enough exploitation. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Um,
but did you hear also the rule breaker crackdown? The new proposal to
oh, are you talking
for the
about
Hokkien, the
yeah,
insurance, the health insurance. Yeah.
yes.
So they're gonna lower the threshold for visa renewal bans due to unpaid health insurance bill, and it used to be 20 man, so 200,000 if you haven't paid insurance money for 200,000 yen. In the past, you'd be banned from renewing your visa, but now the threshold goes down to ichiman. So God forbid you forgot to pay your insurance for maybe 1 or 2 months, you might be
Yes.
banned from the country. Um,
Banned
so
from
that's
renewing your visa.
renewing your visa. Yeah.
Yeah. In which case you would have to go to the city hall and pay your outstanding bill, and
Right.
then yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So now a small unpaid bill could really risk your ability to re-enter the country. So these are all these new sets of immigration reform from this
yes.
new
Yep.
government.
Yeah. Um, no, in all seriousness, it's kind of a thing where they really need to walk and chew gum though. Um, at the same time. On one hand, I actually don't have anything wrong with I don't have any problems or I don't see anything wrong with the idea of making it more difficult or being more strict on the requirements to get a visa.
Uh huh.
To be honest, if you're going to be like a real nation state and you want people that are coming here from other countries to respect your culture and to properly
Right.
immerse themselves in it, then you should set high bars. One of the biggest arguments that I've heard about how ridiculous it is for them to crack down on foreigners not paying health insurance premiums or national or pension is that actually of course the majority of people that aren't paying their bills are Japanese people. So it's the exact same thing where Japanese people complain about foreigners being rude on trains, but the perpetrators of people being rude on trains or not giving up priority seats to old, elderly, or pregnant women is actually Japanese people. So people that complain about it are just totally talking out their asses. It's
Uh-huh.
stupid. You need to, before you start pointing out foreigners and saying that they're the problem, you need to turn that back at yourself, at the people that are born here, and hold them to a higher standard. Okay,
Dude,
if
like
you
we
think that that's actually a problem. Last week, took these two hitchhiker guys that I was looking after
uh-huh.
to an sento. Inside this onsen, there's not like a rack or anywhere to put a towel. After you have the locker, you go through the door, and sometimes there's like a rack where you put
Uh-huh.
like a body towel or whatever, or a face towel. There's nothing like that. So this is my local, so I've been going there for years.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
takes a towel in with them.
Mm-hmm.
You get naked, you go in, and when you come out, you go into the locker room area, and you keep your towel in your locker. Okay, you straight from from the bath or the shower after you bath or whatever. And that's just the way it is. But one of these guys, he actually had his little towel with him. But he went to go from the bath to go into the locker room area, and some Japanese guy had said to him, "Hey, hey, like you've got to wipe yourself
Yeah,
down
yeah.
before you go into that locker room area.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, Japanese mana.
Yeah,
Rude,
yeah,
rude." And
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Everybody else there is going straight into the locker room. That's just
Right.
what, because there's nowhere to hold
Right,
or
right,
put
right.
a towel
Uh-huh.
there.
Right.
That is how this place works. But
let's
he
let's
chose
let's just
to,
say this. I mean, it's real that like that it's a rule in some
yes,
places. I mean, in most places, like it's considered like rules and manners. But we're talking about,
unspoken often.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, unspoken. But
Yes.
we're talking about like Japanese people do it too. But and do you point that out?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
do you actually
Literally,
call them out when
how
that
many
happens?
Japanese guys walked in and
Yeah,
out and he said nothing?
right.
And then
But
the
as soon as
foreigner
it's yeah,
does, and he says, "Hey, this is Japan. It's
yeah,
absolute hypocrisy. This is what."
yeah,
So that's one thing. It's absolute garbage.
mhm,
On the other hand, on the other hand, same thing with how in America they say, okay, the Trump says, "Oh, there's all these immigrant criminals," and people are like, "Yeah, but actually, immigrants have a lower rate of criminality than American citizens." That is true, 100%. But it is also reasonable to say that people who were not fortunate enough to be born with the citizenship of the country that they want to live in have to be held to a higher standard until they earn that citizenship. I think both of those things can exist simultaneously, and that's what I think about the insurance thing as well. It's annoying, but it kind of makes sense. There's a logical argument to it.
So I might be like going a little bit fast here, but like out of the three things we just mentioned, so the fee hike, the harder path to PM or citizenship, and the crackdown on unpaid insurance bill, I think the latter two make sense. The harder path to citizenship or PM or the rule breaking
Mm,
crackdown.
mm.
But they only make sense if those were the only two things they were doing, right? But when you think about this thing all together, I think the fee hike is the one that feels most like scummy and exploitative, and by
It
itself,
is
it's already like
by
scumming. Yeah,
it's by far the stupidest.
yes, the stupidest. But then when you combine it with the other two, it feels even worse because now like you could argue that oh, what you just said, like, oh, there should be like a higher hurdle or like a higher bar for someone to get a citizenship. But now you extended 5 years for someone to be able to get the
Yes.
citizenship, but you trap
Yes.
them into this 5 years
Yes.
of keep having to renewing
Yes.
with this fee hike. Now it just feels like an exploitation, like a pure exploitation. It doesn't feel like anything else, you know?
And this is you did go very fast. You got straight to the heart of the retardation of
Yeah.
this whole
Uh-huh.
like this whole revamp that they're doing is that individually there are valid arguments you could make for each of these policies. I don't even on principle necessarily stand against any
Same,
of them,
same. Yeah, same.
but that would be on the basis that there was some foundational
Yeah.
philosophy or built in, like something related to the values, something more morally consistent. But the reason they're raising the visa price is because other countries are more expensive.
Right. Which I don't even know if it's their real intention. I don't know if they're just playing stupid or because like I was thinking about this because at first I was like, yeah, um, it kind of makes sense that because like 6,000 for renewing visa, like 3 to 4,000, it feels really cheap. But like you're not raising the wage, right? That's one
Yeah.
argument that
Yes.
people make all the time. Like you
Yeah.
raising the fee, but the wage stays the same. So you're basically just making it harder for people to do it.
So that's the
Um,
thing, is that on the face of it, these things actually contradict with each other. So,
yeah.
for example, there's kind of two parts of this, which is that there's no in in concept, there's no virtue, there's no foundation of virtue, by which I mean like values or morals. And then it's also that they're all sticks. There's no carrots. So when you want to encourage a certain culture, and I mean culture not as in like the a culture of like quote unquote Japanese culture, like fucking green tea and sakura. I mean like team culture, organization, culture of a culture of an identity of a group of people, is you have to reward
Mm-hmm.
when people are consistent, when people act in consistency with the values, the core values that you set of your organization. There has to be a reward for it, and that is also in line with punishment, or you know some negative reinforcement of when people act not in line with the values of your team, your group, whatever. So for one, it's, for example, we're saying, okay, you have to pay your bills better than Japanese people do, your insurance bills. Okay, I'm willing to show my commitment to this new team that I want to join by being better than the people that are already there, so I earn it. Okay. But we're not going to be improving your wage. And we're going to be taking more money from you every time you uh, have to renew your visa. And we're going to make it further away that you can get out of this endless loop of visa renewal by years. So if you were going to say, look, you have to be better than Japanese people, you have to prove that you're dedicated, that you're committed to fully assimilating into our society, and in exchange, it's not going to break the bank. And if you work harder than everybody else, then it's actually going to be a shorter amount of time, or a reasonable amount of time until you can get out of this fucking hell loop of visa renewal. That would make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing in terms. So there's no value in terms. There's no
There's no
consistency in
rewards. Yeah.
terms. Yeah, and then the other thing is that that's fundamentally contradictory. Like you're charging more money, you're making it longer, but you're not increasing wages. And a lot of the people that are coming here for low wage jobs.
Yeah.
So you're actually just making it more impossible for people to come
Yeah.
in.
It's just make it more of a misery for
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah. So
And
both
the
logically, in
mhm.
function, and in principle, it's completely contradictory.
Yeah, it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna make the low wage people, like, it's gonna make their life harder, which we know what will lead to, because like most of the foreigner crimes in Japan is from the, like, l- lower wage people, especially, like, say, technical intern trainee. Um, why? Because like they don't make as much money, and now you're trying to charge more for their visa renewal. And when it comes to the people who have the ability to pay it, it's just gonna become a pure annoyance. Like it's nothing else. Like the visa fee is not high enough for discourage people to stay longer. Like people is gonna pay it. Like
Yeah.
it in the end, it's like what? Even if it's 10x, it's just 4 man every year, right? So it's not like something that is impossible to pay. So people are gonna pay it, but it's just gonna be like a bigger burden, right? It's not gonna be a prevention for anything they sort of want to prevent. But yeah, it's just gonna be an annoyance for those who can pay it, and it's gonna be a bigger financial burden for those who cannot pay.
It also, yeah, like, and you just talked about the other thing, which is that it completely fails to account for the fact that there are two drastically different large buckets of types of people that immigrate to Japan, and their motivations and their behavior patterns when they move here. Right. The first is those people on the technical apprenticeship or whatever it's
Intern
called
trainee,
in,
yeah,
yeah, intern training. People that come here trying to make money. They're
money,
looking for economic opportunity because they can make more money here and get theoretically get access to some, better skills than they would in their home country. A lot of those people will come here, they'll make that money so that they can take it back or send it back to their home country. They don't have much actual allegiance to Japan at the point of when they come here. And those are the people that are actually at the highest risk of not assimilating properly, because they don't necessarily want to be in Japan because they love Japan. It's because of economic opportunity. So they're naturally inclined to group up into communities of like similar people in a certain geographic area and resist acclimating and
assimilation,
immersing
yeah,
themselves, yeah, into Japanese society. So you're disincentivizing that group of people even more from assimilating by treating them worse, by making their lives harder, or you're just preventing them from coming here and staying here at all, which is taking away the whole point of the program, which was to bring more workers. So at that point, just why don't you get rid of the fucking program?
yeah.
What the actual fuck? It's yeah. So there's that, and then the other bucket is the people that you
High
mentioned, which are
skilled,
who are
yeah.
high skilled, who are affluent. It's basically all the weebs that wanted to come to Japan because they love fucking anime and samurai,
Uh-huh.
and they come here because they they grew up with enough privilege and access to information to know more or less what Japan is, and they want to study Japanese, and they want to get a Japanese waifu and get bullied by the muscle girls in Akihabara or whatever the fuck they want to do. Um, and they're going to come here for university, and they're going to have, their parents, their boomer parents, have enough money to put them through whatever pain you're going to try to put them through. And those people are going to be proactive. They are intrinsically motivated to assimilate into Japanese culture. You don't need any sticks for those
Right.
people.
Yeah.
If any, I mean, those are the people that, they'll be here whether you like it or not. By extending how long it takes to get permanent residency or Japanese citizenship is not going to change anything. The people that want to be here are going to be here for as long as it takes. You're going to move here, you're going to decide, like me, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
moved here, I came here. Okay, this is my future now. I'm
Mhm.
in. People that aren't like that are going to do their 4 or 5 years or whatever, and they're going to fuck off anyway because it doesn't,
Yeah.
they figure out they don't like it. There's no nothing about, and those, these people pay bills. You don't have problems paying bills necessarily, and you
Yeah.
already had enough control over those
Mhm.
people when their visas are sponsored by their companies, so they can't quit their job,
Right.
right? So it just makes no sense. If you really wanted to, there's the only thing that makes any sense is the higher requirements for Japanese proficiency.
Uh-huh.
I think that just
That makes the most sense.
flat out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just
I agree.
just
Let's do
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you had to do.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you're not dedicated enough to learn Japanese,
And that's
fuck off.
literally that's the core of most of the problems
It
of foreigners in
is.
Japan. It
It
is. Like if
is.
you can speak Japanese, people will accept you, you know. And that's all you need in Japan. You don't need anything else, like literally just Japanese. Make people learn Japanese before they can come into the country. Don't let them go through JLPT and without speaking, right? Don't
Yeah.
make those Chinese people who can just pass N1 easily without being able to speak a word because they know kanji so well. Make people be able to speak Japanese well and let them go into the country, and it will solve literally like 90% of the problems that Japanese people have with foreigners in Japan.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
literally, I'm not this whole thing they're doing, it just feels like they're trying to tax foreigners. Like that's all that it feels for me,
That's what
right?
it is. It's
Yeah,
so
it's what it
weird.
is. It's just
It's
a new form of
stupid.
tax.
Yes.
It feels like Switch 2 international version. It literally is like
But
just
it's
more
actually
money for no reason.
but it's more nefarious than the Switch 2 because it's not at
It's
all
not adding
market
anything.
related.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not adding anything. It's
It's
not.
not a product. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not making any like it's just makes you pay more, but it's not providing anything more for you. Even like the Switch 2, they just take it away and then put it back, so it's kind of like a scam already. But here, they're actually not providing anything new for you. They're just
No,
taking
but the
away
Switch
more
2 is
money.
a business strategy. It's
Yeah,
we can gouge these people for more money, so we will.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, whatever.
And
But
they're just milking money out of people who can't be milked anymore. Like, what are you doing? Like, they're just making their life more miserable and potentially creates more crimes like in the future
yeah.
because yeah, like, and you know what, like more people is not gonna it's gonna overstay because of this, like
And
they're not gonna renew because they can't pay for it, and there are gonna be more foreign criminals in Japan, and it just feels so stupid. Like I don't know
well,
why.
it's a circle jerk. That's it's what
Yeah, it is. It's
um
it's it's a signal, right? It's kind of
what
like a dog whistling situation where they're like, oh,
yes, it is
we
a hundred
promise you
percent
this,
dog whistling.
like
Yeah.
see
Well,
what we're doing now.
it's all tactics. It's the same. It's all related to the because they're going forward with this thing to reduce the seats in the lower house. So they're, it's got to be simultaneous, stomp out the right wing people that were going with Sanseito and then offer to them that we are actually hardliners on this so that you can get them back. It's all a part of their big pivot to the right to try to get all of the right, the conservative nationalist people back on the LDP train, because that's where the people are now largely. And it's just it's the South Park meme. It's the Comcast guys who are like, "Oh, we're raising the prices." Well,
Huh?
you familiar with that meme? Yeah,
No.
but okay. Well,
God. I just it's infuriating. Like the matching global standards. Like in what way? It's just the talking point
It's
is so stupid. Like
it's just okazu for that race trader that
yeah,
is sitting to the right of Takaichi. What's her name again? Onoda.
uh, Noda Miki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure
she
she
really
came up with
annoys
it.
me.
Yeah, I'm sure she's just. I mean,
She had, I'm sure she had problems at school as a half kids, and I think this is
hundred
her
percent.
way to cope with it.
Yeah,
Um, I Jesus Christ, I'm just so
yeah,
mad.
yeah.